and welcome to the Football Home podcast. We are live. It's myself, Warren, and Andreas, the dream team, back together again. It always seems to come back to us three, doesn't it?
True.
Always.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will get started. There's plenty of FA Cup fixtures from the weekend to go through, so we will just get stuck in straight away. We did talk about Arsenal versus City on Friday night, myself and Andreas, so we won't go back into that. We'll get your quick thoughts actually on that, Warren.
The Arsenal City game.
Yeah.
I can remember correctly, it ended 1-0. Crazy goal from Ake. I didn't really watch the match, but it was kind of like City kind of mainly dominated the game, but
Yeah.
Arsenal did give them a run for their money in a sense. However, I thought this was like a little bit of a preview of what we're gonna see in the Premier League when these two matches when these teams are gonna link up again. But the fact that City only got one goal in says a lot. It says a lot about Arsenal as well. Not a lot of teams can sustain that, pressure and hold them off. And that was kind of like a freaky goal from Ake. And so weird as be a person to score a goal for City. You would think the fact that they could hold Haaland and they could hold De Bruyne and those people. I think overall it's a good result for City. Give them a little bit of momentum going into those matches that they still need to face with Arsenal. But Arsenal should take a pat on the back as well. The fact that they could defend that well and only concede one goal says a lot. It's great. And I do think City had the stronger team than Arsenal. Arteta did start a lot of people that he wouldn't normally start. So I think that was the difference. So you can't really say that's an indication of where the two clubs are on a level playing field. I think when Arsenal and City face each other in the league, that's when you will see. That's where we will see the proof is in the pudding, I guess, as who's the best team and who's going to actually surge forward. I do believe that match is going to determine who's going to win the league, because if Arsenal can beat City in the league, they are winning the league.
Yeah,
that's my thoughts.
Yeah, there's still two games between Arsenal and City, so I think those two fixtures will be key. Like if they get one each, then it's even Stevens. If City win two, then they're probably going to go on and win again. If Arsenal win the two, then they're likely going to win. It's all so many different considerations. But I know what I'd said to Andreas Friday was that Arsenal did make changes. They made about 6 changes, so I don't think you can really read too much into the defeat.
Into that, yeah.
And I think that their priority will be the Premier League. Anyway, we'll move on. Walsall versus Leicester was one of the games on Saturday. A 68th minute goal from Kelechi Iheanacho did the job for Leicester. I would say that we should probably be saying that Leicester should be winning by a lot more, but then again, they're not in the greatest of form. They had 28 shots in total, Leicester, 75% possession, 7 shots on target. They dominated this game. They should really be doing a lot better with that. Warren?
Yes, I actually watched this match, and it was interesting to see James Maddison back and Tielemans and how they operated. Leicester did dominate. How do you say Walsall? Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, they Walsall. Okay. So I think they played a good game. They for a team that's not in Premier League, they played well against Leicester. There were chances. However, Leicester had a lot of chances. They just couldn't convert them. But it says a lot of where they are as a club as well. I think it probably would have been 2-0 had Tielemans taken the penalty properly and it didn't go off the post. So I was surprised that Maddison didn't take the penalty. That was kind of like a shock decision for me as to why Tielemans stepped up. But overall, I mean, this should just be a boost for Leicester. I think this is if they're into the 5th round of the FA Cup. They're not completely out of the league yet, so I think this is a good step. Yes, they granted.
James Maddison did play.
Yeah, he did play, but he didn't take the penalty. That's what that's what
Okay,
yeah, he did play. I think that he played about 65 minutes. He could take it off. But I do think that as a squad, Leicester was stronger. And they should have converted the chances more. But I mean, a win is a win at this point. And if you can get to the FA Cup, isn't the easiest. Just looking at the matches overall this whole tournament this year so far. The FA Cup has been they delivered some surprises in big teams going home. So the fact that Leicester's in the still in it in the thick of things and they're not completely out of the league, it's good for them. This is good. A win. It's the small victories does do well for confidence and momentum moving forward. So overall, a good result for them.
absolutely. Andreas?
Yeah, I think this is good for Leicester. They had possession most of the time, were probably the better team. But like we can't ignore the fact that this is a League Two team, fourth
Yeah,
tier in English football, and they are mid-table team in that league. So it's Walsall is a great team, but it's they are very low compared to what Leicester is. So Leicester not winning with more is a shock, and it just comes back to these problems with Leicester that it's difficult right now. But at the end of the day, a win is a win, and I've said it before. If you go on to win the entire tournament, no one is complaining about how you got there. But just looking at this match alone, this is just for me another example of Leicester not quite being where they should have been. Like last season or the season before that, Leicester would very likely have won with more than this. So it is a little bit of a problem for Leicester, but a win is a winner, and as Warren said, they are still in there for Premier League to survive, still in this tournament. So overall, it's looking good for them. But with this match alone, it's not quite where they should be. But again, win is a win.
absolutely. We will move on to Accrington Stanley 3-1, losing 3-1 to Leeds. If I can find the banner I had, here we go. Yeah, Accrington Stanley losing 3-1 to Leeds. Goals from Jack Harrison, Junior Firpo, and Lewis Sinistera, giving Leeds the win there. Accrington Stanley, League Two side pulling back a goal with 9 minutes to go, but to spark hopes for comeback, but I mean, ultimately not to be. Leeds dominated, but not completely dominated. Possession 59-41, shots on target 10-8, shots in total 21-15. Looks like it was a even enough game, but Leeds just took their chances. Andreas?
Again, we are kind of back to the thing with the team not being on quite that level. They are League One team, but right now they're looking for relegation. So again, kind of a little bit same level. This is just a little bit better team. In where they are. But yeah, Leeds doing a good job. Leeds getting the win, and I've said before that Leeds at their best days can be a really good team. I feel like Leeds have a lot of stars when it comes to the offensive part of the game, where I feel like with the defensive, it's a little bit more lacking, if you ask me. Still good players, but I feel like there's a lot of potential in the offensive. And yeah, 3 goals says it all here. But also an Accrington team that scores a goal. And I think that kind of tells me where Leeds are, that they are offensively very strong, but defensively kind of some struggles.
Yeah, that's the story of Leeds, I think.
It really is. But yeah, they got a win and they move on. And I think Leeds actually, I don't know if we know who they're facing next round yet.
Yeah,
Yes, we did. I
they
posted it in the chat.
Nottingham Forest. They're away to Forest.
Okay.
And
That's
no,
going to be
the FA Cup. Let me just find that. The draw was made. Let me see. Next round, Leeds go to. They face Fulham or Sunderland away.
Okay. So yeah, I think Leeds actually have some potential to go far in this. Hey,
Hey,
Bree.
Bree.
I agree.
Yeah, I think they really have some potential to go far in this. But if they're going to face Fulham, it's going to be difficult. And even Sunderland as well. That's not a team to underestimate. But I do think Leeds is going pretty well right now, and with a little bit of luck, I could see them going far in this, and I think that could be really really good for their season, to go very far in this tournament. So yeah, Leeds getting the win and yeah, moving on. So that's great for them, and
Yeah.
as expected. So yeah.
Warren?
Yeah, I was gonna say the fact that Leeds didn't have the best path to the fourth round. They had to play a couple of replays. So the fact that they could get in there and get a win straight out, that's to me is already major tick, major plus for me in their books. The fact that they've got three different people scoring also, and they score more than one goal, major tick. So for me, that's all positives. Yes, the other team did pull back a goal, but I mean, the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really do much, but gives them a bit of confidence. But I mean, for Leeds, this is huge. Three different scorers. Harrison is back in the goals, and you've got all these other Firpo. He got his first goal in like 2 years, I think, for Leeds, and there's Celestera he's been on fire for the last couple of in the last couple of weeks. So Leeds has shown that they've got the firepower. They've got the arsenal in the squad to do some damage to teams. And like Andrea said earlier, they've shown in the past the season that they can do some damage to big teams like Chelsea, Liverpool, and then so for me, this is just great because they're still in two competitions. They're still in the league. They're still in the FA Cup. They sailed straight through the fifth round. I think this is better than they did last season in the FA Cup. Next fixture could be a bit dicey for them, but I mean, if there's one team that can pull an upset, it's this Leeds team, and yeah, so it's a good feather in the cap for them. I think that's great.
Moving on, Southampton beat Blackpool 2-1. Southampton did make a lot of changes, though, to be fair to them. Obviously, they're in a survival battle at the moment in the Premier League, so I think that is their main focus. And obviously, they have the League Cup semi-final tonight, so they will be wanting to kind of focus on that more, especially with them only being 1-0 down to Newcastle. They will feel like they have a good chance, so I think the FA Cup was probably low on their list of priorities, but still they had enough to get through. 67% possession compared to 33. Only 3 shots on target, though, but they got 2 of those. Got a double from Roman Perro, then 14 shots. Blackpool had 33% possession, but still had 5 shots on target, 11 shots in total. And I think it's the same story as Leeds, that they're just struggling defensively, Southampton, but going forwards, they have plenty of firepower. Warren?
Yeah, definitely. I think Southampton is kind of like in a little bit of a rebirth. I said it in the last podcast that I was on. Fortunately, I wasn't here last week, but I think Southampton is in the middle of a little rebirth. Forget about the one match that they lost against. I think they lost against City. Or I can't remember who they lost against recently in the league, but they lost big. But they won against City in the Carabao Cup, and then in this FA Cup they got 2-1 over Blackpool, so not bad. I think they kind of finding themselves again, still in the relegation zone in the Premier League, but there's like how many matches still left? 19 or what? I think there's still 19 matches left to play. So I think yeah, so half the season is kind of like we're halfway there in the Premier League. So there's still room for them. It's still congested at the bottom, so a couple of wins could do them well. So I think they will just stay on the spot that they're on. James Ward-Prowse didn't play. They still got the goals in. So again, they've got potential. There's potential in this Southampton, and with this transfer deadline happening and they're signing new players, I think they're on the right track. They just need to strengthen themselves defensively and not concede as much. But I mean, they're still in the league. They're in the FA Cup. They're in the Carabao Cup still. And not a lot of teams can say that this season. So
Yeah.
yes, I think that's great. I think there's a teams that's higher than they are in the league that's struggling in these small competitions, and the fact that they are still in all three, it says a lot for me. I think what the new manager's doing is instilling a bit of confidence in them to go out there, be aggressive, get the goals in, because that's what they've been lacking in the past at the beginning of the season. So if they continue on this track, I think that they can be a force to be. They can be a dark horse. So and the fact that Newcastle in the Carabao Cup, I mean, even in other games, they haven't really been fighting in the goals. Um, it's huge. So I think confidence wise, I think this is great for them. Just like I said with Leeds, just like I said with Leicester, they all in like the same little boat, trying to get the momentum up, trying to get out of that little dark hole, and it's not constant negative, 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 and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Andreas?
Yeah, I very much agree. Looking at Blackpool is a championship team, but they are looking at getting relegated if it ended right now. So looking at the match, winning with one goal is not really anything in particular, but it's momentum and it's confidence boost, and that's what they really need right now. And I think these tournaments will really mean something special to Southampton, because there really are chances of getting very close to a trophy, and that will be amazing for them in the situation they are in right now. And also in Premier League, I don't think they will survive, but no matter what, they deserve credit for trying, and it's not looking impossible for them. It did earlier in the season. It looked basically impossible for them to survive. Right now, I think they are moving up the right way and getting closer and closer to surviving. So yeah, they deserve credit for being all of these competitions and doing their best. So yeah, credit to that. And even though this is a match they should win, Southampton is also a team that has not been the greatest this season. So no matter what, it is a win, and it's a great win to have. And going so far in this tournament is also so great for them. Also with being so great in Carabao. So yeah, match not really anything special for them, but overall it's looking really good for them, and that's great.
Yeah. We'll move on. Fulham 1-1 with Sunderland. Andreas, I did call an upset on Friday. I did say that there would be an upset.
Yeah.
I did gonna predict this. Fulham made a few changes, it seems like. Not a whole lot, but like Mitrovic was rested, Willian rested, Bobby Reed, Cordova. So they made a few changes, which is natural, I feel. But it looks like from the stats that they dominated 22 shots in total compared to 17, 69% possession compared to 31, 12 shots on target to 6. Probably should have, I think they probably had enough to win this. I don't know what your thoughts are, Andreas.
Um, I think honestly this is kind of a fair result, to be honest. Fulham is probably the strongest team, but Sunderland is not a team to underestimate, and Fulham has a lot going on, doing really well in Premier League. Um, so they are clearly they are very tired, and understandably so. And again, Sunderland is not a team to underestimate, doing great in Championship. Mid-table team, but still doing really great. Not even mid-table; they're actually ninth, so they are pretty good in the table.
They're not far off the promotion places. They're not far off playoff places. There's
No, they're
literally 3 points between 4th and 10th. So, like, you have Middlesbrough in 3rd on 45, and then you have Preston down in 11th on 40, which tells you how tight it is. There's 5 points between the tables.
And I think that says it all. Like, Sunderland is a really strong team, and really a lot for them to gain with all of this. So I don't really think this is like you said it, and I was not really understanding it when you said it, Harry. But I kind of understand it that like Sunderland is a good team, and again Fulham has a lot going on. So yeah, I think this is fair. But you would expect that Fulham go out and win in the rematch. I feel like Sunderland, if they moved on, they would have done it in the first. So you must expect that Fulham, now knowing who they're actually facing, can go out next time and set a stronger team than Sunderland has even possibility of doing. So I would assume Fulham wins next time. But no matter what, credit to Sunderland and even credit to Fulham, because Sunderland is a really, really strong team. And again, Fulham has a lot going on, a lot of matches, big matches in Premier League. So respect to both teams for a very close match.
Yeah. Warren?
Yeah, I think this game was kind of. I think they went into it very confident that they would be able to beat Sunderland, and then Sunderland pulled back the goal within like the first 3 minutes of the game. I think it happened first 3 minutes, and then they became like a
6 minutes the goal came. For
6 minutes. Yeah. So it became like a game of chase for Fulham. So they had to catch up, and they only got the goal in the second half. And Mitrovic, Willian and those people came on late in the game. So I don't think this game was much of a priority for Marco Silva, but I do think that going into the replay, he will push a stronger team in. The Fulham they've got the squad, they've got the power in their squad to beat Sunderland. They've beaten stronger teams in the league, so I think it's going to be about planning who to play. But then at the same time, you've got Chelsea next. Then on Friday they've got Chelsea. Then they've got the replay, and then another match. So it's like it's about a game of chess. It's a game of chess with your squad right now, and then you've got all these new players coming in. So yes, it's going to be interesting. But I do think that watching the game, Sunderland did give them a run for their money. So the replay is going to be quite interesting to watch. So either team has the potential to actually to move forward. So I'm not knocking Sunderland at all, but just judging where they are in the Championship now, and they've got a chance to get into the Premier League. So I think that it's going to be interesting. I think either team can actually get the edge. I think it's just how they approach the next game, the replay. That's going to determine who goes forward. But a good game, fair result. I do worry a bit about Fulham because there are games where they kind of drop their standards and then they settle for these ties, and that's not always a good thing. So that's just one thing that I've been noting from them.
Fair enough. Preston lost 3-0 to Spurs. Spurs absolutely dominated this game. 69% possession, even with a much changed team. They made lots of changes, Spurs. Harry Kane wasn't even risked for this. I think he was ill anyway. 2 goals from Son Heung-min and a debut goal for controversial signing Dan Juma. On debut. Obviously, he was supposed to sign for Everton and then suddenly made a switch to Spurs out of nowhere. I swear, teams look at Fabrizio Romano's page and they say, "Oh, Everton, like such and such a team is going to sign this player." Like, "Oh, he's good. We'll try and get him instead." That's the way it works. Because I saw something today that someone Leicester were targeting, that someone else wanted them, that they were going to try and disrupt that. It's just mad the way it works sometimes. But yeah, anyway, good to see Son Heung-min back in form. Son Heung-min, yeah.
Yeah.
Warren?
Yeah, great for him. I think the fact that it felt like that Leicester game again when he came from the bench and then scored that hat-trick. I think he got that same level of confidence in him again. To see him, and the fact that Harry Kane didn't start and he was like the main guy and he actually delivered for them huge for them, and I think it's huge for Conte and for the entire Spurs team. I think they were so happy for him as well. And the fact that the new transfer player scored on the first game from the bench, I mean that's huge. I think Conte did smart business this time around than last season. So this could be the ace that Spurs needs, and I think this is great for Son as an individual baller himself. So I just hope he can carry that forward. But great win for Spurs, Preston. I mean, I really don't think this was an evenly matched game to begin with. Regardless if Spurs sometimes drop form, 3-0 is a great result for them in hindsight. And yeah, it's just good all around. And they didn't even have to start Harry Kane, and they didn't risk him. He was on the bench. They didn't risk him. He was still so interesting for Spurs, the fact that they can switch on and switch off like that. So yeah, happy for them.
Son being back in form is huge though for them. He's one of the most likable players, I think, as well in the league. You know, you just want him to do well. He's just one of those good guys. But it's huge for him and huge for Spurs, because with him and Harry Kane both in form, that's only good. It adds another avenue that if teams going to shut down Harry Kane, that they still have Son there. Andreas, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think first of all, Dan Juma, the new signing, I think it's a really, really good signing. It's only a loan, if I'm not mistaken.
Not sure.
And Warren Romano can confirm for us.
I don't know. I can't remember. I just posted things. There's too many stuff happening right now.
Yeah, there really is. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a loan. But no matter what, it's a really interesting signing. And looking at his stats from Villarreal, he has scored a lot of goals. He scored when he was in Bournemouth. So great player, and going to be really interesting following him. And also I think with Son, that's like Son being back in form is so key to Spurs. But if you had told me that the match that Son will really start shining again will be in a FA Cup match against Preston, I would have told you were crazy, because it's so unlikely that even Son plays in this match. And then he goes out and suddenly shows how great he really is again. So yeah, surprising, but really what Spurs need. And Spurs is just great right now, and I don't know where that came from. A few months back, everyone was trolling Spurs, and now it's kind of going pretty well actually. And if we compare to Fulham that faced Sunderland, and all these teams I just mentioned before, Preston is 11th. I think you said that they have 40 points, so very, very close to top 6. But no matter what, Spurs scored 3 goals against them and conceded 0. So here we can really see the difference. With all the other teams, they only barely won against these smaller teams. Here we have a pretty good Preston team that Spurs just completely destroyed. And I think that shows how great Spurs really are right now. So yeah, it's going pretty well for them right now, and I'm honestly kind of surprised about that. But yeah, Spurs really finding the form again, and yeah, interesting new signing there in Danjuma. So yeah,
absolutely. Moving on, United beat Reading on Saturday night to nobody's real surprise. 3-1. I feel like United dominated that. I did watch the game. United did dominate. Just for whatever reason in the first half, just could not get anywhere with it. I don't really know why or how, but it felt like they just weren't on it. They just didn't have that intensity. They dominated, but just weren't scoring. I don't really know why. 25 shots in total, though, in the game. 78% possession. They absolutely ran that game. Reading are struggling a little bit. They're kind of in the bottom half of the championship table, so they're not going great at the moment. But yeah, look, a great result. It was the Brazilian show. 2 goals from Casemiro and a goal from Fred, who, with Christian Eriksen injured, is probably likely to get a big role in the second half of the season, you would imagine. And there were some absolute crackers, actually, some of the goals. I think there was offside as well. There was another goal that was ruled out for offside from Marcus Rashford, because I think Weghorst was offside. I don't know. The offside rule is just it's annoying because it's just, there's no consistency with it, and it's just, you just don't understand. It's hard to understand it anymore because it's changing constantly, and it just doesn't seem to be a clear for me. But I don't know, maybe others have other thoughts. But yeah, comfortable enough win in the end. Warren?
Yeah, I actually watched this game. It was a great game to watch, to be honest. I mean, I'm the most unbiased footballer. I watch any team. So I don't care if it's rival to Liverpool. I'll watch it if they play great. I will tell you they play great. And a lot of people keep telling me Casemiro is the greatest centre midfielder in the world. And I was like, you are crazy. And then I watched this match and I look at the second goal from Casemiro was like, I didn't even see it coming. It was just a simple pass, and then there goes the ball into it. I was like, this guy is amazing. And it's like, I, I have to give credit. I said every week, I have to give credit to Ten Hag. I have to give credit I have to give props to Man United as a team. They are playing some solid football, and I know Reading is a championship team, and that says a lot. That Manchester United didn't score more goals, but I mean, like I said, if the FA Cup isn't the easiest, these small teams they take this cup and they believe that this is their chance, to get their hands on some silverware, so they give it their all. So it's not always an easy, walk over cakewalk. Fred, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Anthony. I mean, what a game! Rashford probably got robbed, and couldn't break the record of getting 10 goals in a row, or 10 goals was it Anfield? Old Trafford.
He just said that he's the most unbiased football fan ever, and then he starts talking about
man. Come on, it's slip of the tongue. But yeah, Old Trafford. I would say Manchester United play the best games at home this season. It's been proven over and over and over the season. They're at home, they play great. If they play away, there's always this level of, they're gonna do great, but there's always a chance they might drop points. But I mean, overall, amazing game, and I think they lucked out again in the first round. I don't think the team they're facing is that difficult. So I mean, Manchester United is looking really good in all facets of the campaign, if should I say, besides the UEFA Championship League. But all the other three, and even in the Europa Cup, I think they're doing well. So big props, great game.
Andreas?
Yeah, we say that, or you said at least, that Reading is bottom tier and all stuff like that, and that is true. But at the same time, they're 3 points behind Preston that we just
Yeah.
So it's still very close, and Reading is not that bad. They are just very close to each other. So yeah, it's a good win for United, and I think there's not really much to say about it. United is the better team. They have been really good lately, and they just keep showing that. Yeah, there's not really much to say with that, and I think that's the story for this round. That a lot of the Premier League teams, maybe they didn't win the most, but they won their matches, and that's what matters at the end of the day. So far, not the most amount of surprises, and that's okay sometimes. So yeah, United won comfortably, and yeah, they're moving on.
Warren? Oh no, we did that.
We could.
Let's
come to the disaster.
Liverpool lost 2-1 to Brighton. It was a late goal, I believe, from Mitoma that did the job, 90th minute, that took it away from the replay. Brighton made a few changes. 92nd minute even. Liverpool made a few changes. Liverpool didn't make any changes. Liverpool kind of stuck to their best side. Brighton made a few changes, but it was a pretty strong team regardless. Looking at it, not really. And I think maybe Brighton should have done better considering Liverpool's form, but it just kind of shows where the two teams are at now at the moment. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot in it from the stats. Liverpool only had 2 shots on target though, which isn't really good enough for a side
problem.
That quality. It is a problem considering the players they have. Obviously, the strikers aren't getting the service. The forwards, because it's a decent forward line of Salah, Gakpo, Harvey Elliott. It's not like it's poor. Obviously, the forwards just aren't getting that service from the midfield. The midfield is a problem for Liverpool at the moment. It is a big problem. I don't really know what else to say, Warren.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's like I'm watching this. I don't even want to go on social media anymore. I don't want to go even on TikTok. You've got all these Liverpool fans and all these other club people bantering going on. But the constant thing that people are saying is that number one, I will say it, our defense was piss poor. I will just say it was piss poor. The fact that Gomez goes in with his butt up in the air, I don't know what he was doing for that last goal. I just think they switched off at the end. But the main problem is not the defense. I think the main problem for Liverpool right now, and I've been watching this now for the last couple of games, is the fact that we cannot convert goals. Liverpool is not known for a team to score 1 goal or even 0 goals in matches. Last season, we got 4, 5 goals, or we even got less than 3 goals in a match. So obviously, there's a big problem. And the fact that Klopp comes out and says right after this match, we are not making any more signings in January is crazy. That's crazy talk to me. The whole team should be sent to the funny farm if that is how they are approaching this thing. Because I said at the beginning before we started, Chelsea is doing something that Liverpool is not doing, and they're in the same boat. And Chelsea is injecting power into their team, and Liverpool is not doing. They signed Gapco at the beginning. It was not even the transfer window didn't even open yet, and Gapco was in there, and they're playing him in the wrong position. I don't know what Klopp was thinking with the decision he made. And the moment he made the substitutions, he takes Trent off, he takes Thiago off, and he takes off Elliott to score the goal. And then he brings on Curtis Jones, Jordan Henderson, and Darwin Nunez. He brings Nunez on, but he plays him in the wrong position. And that to me is the problem. Salah's been looking off color this whole season. He's a shadow of what he was last season. So I don't know. I actually I was talking to somebody over the weekend when this match was on, and I was like, you know what? I've already written the season off. I don't have any expectations for Liverpool even making top 4, even in the making European status this season, and I'm okay with that. I made peace with it because I'm at that point where I don't want to watch the matches anymore. It's that depressing. Like it's not enjoyable to watch as a fan. You just know they're gonna do bad. So, but then it's like a it's like a bad addiction. You just go back for it. God stay away. So hoping that they can do it. So I don't mean I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But Brighton is just a great team. Sorry that I'm rambling. Great team. They're in great form. They've got class players. Not that Liverpool doesn't have class players, but Brighton is showing you what to do with them, and it's something that is. There's just no fire. There's nothing. There's no passion. It's dry. It's like watching paint dry. It's so annoying as a fan to watch. It's depressing, and then it's equally depressing to see other teams doing well. That's going to slam Liverpool, and it's the weirdest thing to be part of. But I mean, you can only do what you can do with the team that you've got, and I don't know, Champions League, Real Madrid. I don't see us winning that. I don't see us winning going to top 4. I don't. It's just I don't see it happening, and I've made peace with it.
Just going back to what you said about playing players in the wrong position. Gakpo playing through the middle, like he's not a striker.
Exactly.
It makes no
That's
sense.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And a lot of people that's on these Liverpool checking boards said the position, the decision that he makes, it's like he's forcing the players to play in a certain position. I would play Salah down the middle or Nunes down the middle. I wouldn't play Gapco down the middle. Play him on the left side. That's where he's stronger. So I don't understand. I don't. It's the same thing with Graham Potter. That's putting players in positions that they shouldn't be putting in, and then you're expecting great stuff from them. It's not gonna happen, especially if the player is new like Capco. He's new. He doesn't. He still needs to adjust to the team, and you're playing him in the wrong. You're forcing him to play in the wrong position. It makes no sense. Make it make sense. I can't make sense of it.
Maybe he's just trying different things because like things aren't working at the moment, so he's trying different things, kind of playing around, kind of just throwing things at the wall, hoping they stick, kind of thing. I don't know.
I don't know. I like my stance is on the fact that if something doesn't, the fact that we're not making changes, the fact that there's no signings coming in, the midfield isn't strengthening. You're hoping for the best. You're hoping that okay, I'm gonna hang on till Jota comes back. I'm gonna hang on till Firmino comes is well enough to come back. Till Van Dijk is but you can't do that because the fact of the matter is the problem is in the midfield, and those people are there and they're not doing anything. It's not that it's not the service isn't there, like you said at the beginning. There's no service to the and then you've got Salah. He's handed the ball on a silver platter, and he can't get the ball in the net. And that's mistakes that he wouldn't have made in the last season. So overall, this team is just it's a shadow of what they were last season, and you can't blame fatigue anymore. You can't blame injuries anymore because you need. I've never seen Liverpool lose so much in my whole life as a Liverpool supporter. This is the worst season I've seen them do, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I don't have any hope anymore.
Andreas?
Yeah, I think like the Gakpo signing kind of reminds me of playing FIFA, where you get control of the team and then you just make these weird signings that just because you think the player is good, but he makes zero sense for your actual team. And not saying that I think Gakpo will be great, but it like suddenly playing him as an attacker and stuff like that, it just makes zero sense when there is a midfield that strongly needs players.
An injection.
What?
They needed a midfield injection. They need
Exactly.
to be
So it's like
desperate
Gakpo.
in the best.
Yeah, it's like Gakpo is a great signing, and I think he will be great, but it's just not the problem. Like he was not what was needed right now, not alone at least. So signing him is not going to really change anything. If the others start working and it becomes a team and all that kind of stuff, I'm sure it will be great. But he alone is not going to solve anything. Clearly not. Like very few are. So yeah, it's not working. And when I think of Liverpool a few years back, where they won Champions League and Premier League, like they had some really good players like Salah and Van Dijk and Alexander Arnold. But overall, what made the team so great was that they were working together. Like they really felt like a combined team. That was always what for me was so great with Liverpool, that they were a team more than individual players. And a player like Henderson, for example, he has never been the most skilled or anything, but he was just working so well as this captain that was bringing the team together. And it feels like he is kind of missing a little bit. What's his name? The guy from Bayern they got.
Bade.
No, that Thiago. Thiago never really worked, and like they have stars also in the midfield, but it's just not really working. And that's what I feel like with a lot of the team, that there are some really great players, but it's just not really working as a team right now. And then I also can't help but to think a little bit when Warren says the scoring goals thing. I can't help but think a little bit of Mane. Where is he? And we have talked about it before, and I'm not saying that he's the only that's the only problem, but I do feel like there was a lack in losing him. Looking at it right now, because he was so amazing along with Salah. So I kind of feel like they are lacking him very much right now. But overall, it's just not working right now as a team, and I get that it's really really frustrating to look at. And yeah, it's going to be really really interesting to follow, and especially as Warren said, like, why are they not making any transfers? Why are they not trying to change anything with it? So yeah, it's difficult. But looking at this match, I think Brighton is the better team right now. They know how to work, and I think the interesting thing is that clearly Liverpool has bigger players, but Brighton just know how to work as a team right now. And since their manager came, it has been really really great for them. And that is what Brighton have right now. They know what they want to do, and they know how to work together, and therefore they are winning. But with what Harry said, that it's surprising Brighton didn't win with more. I don't know if I really agree with that, because yeah, Brighton is in much better form, but it's still Liverpool. We are still talking about a big team, and there will still be kind of a survival instinct when Liverpool turn into this match, and they will do their best. And the players that were playing here is not bad players. Like a lot of strong players was in this match. So I don't know if I think it's surprising Brighton didn't win with more, because I still feel like Liverpool is a strong team. They're just not quite showing it that much, but they still have that DNA in them. So yeah, I think this is a fair result. Brighton is the better team right now, and they deserve this win.
Fair enough. Then the final game was Derby losing 2-0 to West Ham yesterday. Derby going fairly well in the League One. West Ham made a few changes, but nothing really major. Goals from Michail Antonio and Jared Bowen did the job. It seemed from the stats it was fairly even. I didn't get to watch the match, but it seemed like it was fairly even from the stats. Only one shot on target though for Derby, which kind of I think was the nail in the coffin, really, from 11 shots, whereas West Ham had 5. A good win for West Ham there, really. And they go on to face United in the next round. Warren?
Yeah, West Ham in the league last week got a big win, and then this round in the FA Cup as well. Jared Bowen is now he's collecting the goals again. So this man is in form. He's starting to. He's like at the same time like Son from Spurs. It's like they're getting form. They're amongst the goals again. Seeing Antonio score also. I think West Ham was the stronger team, even though it looked kind of even. They did press more. They did attack more. They got more shots in and converted 2 of the 5 into actual goals. So that says a lot about them. I feel like the same with, like I said at the beginning, with Leicester and Leeds and those people. This is and Southampton. This is the injection they need. This is the confidence booster that they need. They just need to hold on to this, keep that momentum going, and then push forward in the other competition in the Premier League, where they need to start climbing the ladder, because it's still so congested. So they have opportunities to get out of that sticky spot that they've got in. But great win for West Ham. Difficult fixture coming up for them in the first round against United. But I mean, we've seen some upsets. I'm not saying they'll beat United. Just looking at how United is stacked right now, I doubt it. But yeah, I think overall it's just a great win for them. And Derby, I know I remember playing when Liverpool played against them. They were a tough team to play against. But I do feel like the fact that they only got one shot in, and they didn't really do a lot of attacking wise. I do think that they kind of dropped a little bit, or they underestimated West Ham just based on where they are right now in the various competitions. So I guess that was the downfall, and I think West Ham capitalized on that, and then they took the win. So congrats to them, and yeah, they into the first round, which is great. Which is great for them as a team, and it's great that Bowen is back in form with scoring, and because that's what they were lacking, getting those goals in. So it's great for them.
Good for Michail Antonio as well, because he's kind of been shoved aside a little bit for Scamacca. For whatever reason, Scamacca came in and pretty much got that first choice number 9 role. and so Mikel Antonio's kind of been forced to the bench. That's good for him, for his morale as well, to kind of get a goal and kind of say to David Moyes, "Look, I'm still here. I can still do a job for you." Andreas?
Yeah, I think this is pretty good for West Ham. It's a really good win, and I don't know. Like, I think Derby is a good team, but I don't know if I see them as an amazing team. But no matter what, it's a win, and I think this is really what West Ham needed, and I think it's really great that West Ham is starting to get some wins under their belt, and that's exactly what they needed. And I think already now it's too late for them to be as great as they have been the last couple of seasons, but it's still not too late to get up there. And I think they are starting to have the potential to get, if not top 10, very close to top 10. So if they start getting it together and do well, I think they can get up there. And I think what is really interesting with this win is that, if I'm not mistaken, Rice was not playing at all, and they still won 2-0, and Derby didn't score any goals. So for me, this shows that West Ham actually has a pretty strong team. Like, we usually talk a lot about Rice being the key man, and he is. But I think this for me proves that West Ham can do without him. I know it's a very little opponent compared to what they will get in Premier League, but no matter what, it's still a win without him. And that shows to me that there are some strong guys in this team, and with him it will clearly just be even better. So yeah, I'm pretty excited and hopeful on West Ham's behalf right now.
Fair enough. So the draw in full for the last 16 of the FA Cup, the fifth round, is Southampton versus Luton or Grimsby, Leicester City versus Blackburn or Birmingham, Stoke versus Brighton, Wrexham or Sheffield United versus Tottenham, Fulham or Sunderland versus Leeds, Bristol versus Manchester City, Manchester United, West Ham, and then Ipswich or Burnley versus Sheffield Wednesday or Fleetwood. So plenty of interesting ties there, but like, I think the Premier League teams got off lightly.
Yep.
They kind of got good draws, to be fair to them. The standout tie, I guess, is Manchester United against West Ham, and then possibly Fulham versus Leeds. Just mention Wrexham got a replay against Sheffield United. That's a big one for them, being from, I think they're non-league Wrexham, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think they're non-league Wrexham. So yeah, are they? No, sorry, they're in the National League. So I think so they're non-league at the moment. So that's huge for them, getting a replay against big Championship side Sheffield United. Ryan Reynolds, of course.
Yeah,
Deadpool.
I saw
Big famous them, which is kind of mad.
There's a lot of money in that team. Let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
They used a lot of money on it, so it will be surprising if they were not up there. But still amazing.
But still, it's not going to. They're non-league, so I mean, you're not going to get players going there. Players aren't going to want to go to a non-league side, so they have to do with what they have.
I think they signed a lot of big players. They did, but it's still a very small club compared to their opponents. So yeah, congrats to them.
I think that was a big one. Yeah. We will quickly go through the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, second legs of the Carabao Cup for tonight. Newcastle versus Southampton is the big one tonight, the second leg, and that stands at 1-0 Newcastle going into things tonight. Is there a possibility of an upset for Southampton tonight, do we think, guys?
I don't know, to be honest. it just worries me that Newcastle is not scoring more goals. They're not conceding, but they're not scoring more goals.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only ace up their sleeve is that the defense is really strong. But if you've got a free kicker like Ward Prowse in your team that can level Trippier, then I can it kind of puts you in a little bit of a funky headspace, going into this match. So I feel like this is the one that's teetering on, it can, but Southampton does need to win by 2 goals to go through. I feel so.
Or one to take it to extra time.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, but I think that Newcastle should have this in the bag. They should, because if they don't win this, Manchester United is winning the.
Yeah.
He's winning the Carabao Cup.
Hold up. Imagine Southampton getting relegated and winning this trophy. What an amazing story.
I don't think
they would get. I think they get Conference League if they do. I think I'm not sure.
Really?
I think they get. I think the Carabao Cup winner gets Conference League automatically. The FA Cup gets Europa.
The championship team.
If Southampton wins this, they face United, and that's a sure win for United. I think it's gonna be just an anticlimactic season of the Carabao Cup. If it's not Newcastle versus United, it has to be that. It has to be. It just has to be. And even I think that match is gonna end in a tie, and it's gonna go to penalties. So if it comes back to that, that's how I think, and that's gonna be a fitting way to end the season. So I hope I love Newcastle, and I hope that they do great and they can get the win. But Southampton does have. That's just. I think this one is a bit just. It's. This is the one that could throw a spell in the works for Newcastle, and that would be disastrous for them.
Yeah. The team news is in, of course. With 10 minutes to go. Nick Pope in goal, back four of Trippier, Sven Boatman, Fabian Schär, Dan Burn. Then it's Bruno Guimaraes, Sean Longstaff, and Joel Willock, with Miguel Almiron, Joe Linton, and Callum Wilson leading the line for Newcastle. Southampton went with Gavin Bazunu in goal, the Irish number one goalkeeper there.
Of course, you had to mention that.
I'm not Irish. I just live here.
No, we know someone else that is, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
So Gavin Bazunu in goal, Bree Lianco, Jan Bednarek, Mohamed Salisu, Kyle Walker-Peters, Diallo, Alcaraz, James Ward-Prowse, Adam Armstrong, and Shay Adams. That's that. And then United play Forest tomorrow night. I would expect some changes.
Yeah.
Imagine Southampton versus Nottingham. What a crazy.
No, don't even do that. Don't even put that into the universe. I love all 4 teams. Actually, 3. I'm not a big Southampton fan, but it's not. No, don't even do that. Don't even put it into the universe. Don't do it. Just keep it. It has to be Newcastle United. It has to be. Has to be.
I would expect a few changes from United tomorrow night, though. I feel like they need to, because like they're 3-0 up. There's no point kind of going out and kind of having a strong team. They might as well kind of rest guys and have guys on the bench, and then kind of then bring them on if needs be. But like I can't see Forest scoring 4 goals to get through, realistically.
Yeah, and the fact that Manchester United is facing Crystal Palace over the weekend, so
yeah,
I do think, because I mean Crystal Palace did like hold him last time, so because we saw this fixture a couple of weeks ago, so just the other day 1-1. So I think I agree with Harry. I think Ten Hag is definitely going to raise some players and not risk further injuries, because they already lost Eriksen. So I mean, you don't want any more. You don't want Rashford, God forbid, or Fred or anybody else to something they don't have Dallo, they don't have Eriksen now. So I think Fred is probably starting, or even McTominay.
Yeah.
in the next tomorrow.
Absolutely. Christian Eriksen is injured, of course. That's a huge blow for United going forward. We do know that they are trying to sign someone from Bayern at the moment to try and replace him, but we'll see if that deal goes through over the next couple of hours. Talking of transfers, we should probably do a quick little bit on those because there have been a couple of big transfers over the past few days that have made headlines. I suppose the big one is João Cancelo going to Bayern Munich, which kind of came out of nowhere. Warren, I know you've been...
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said before we started, Harry and I was discussing this before we started, but before you came on, and I was like, ever since the World Cup, but even before that, there was issues with Cancelo. He got that red card in the one game, and then Pep wasn't happy with him, and now, but it was all kind of like hush hush under the mat. Nobody actually knew that there was stuff bubbling, and now all of a sudden, 2 days before the window closes, you see Cancelo going to Bayern Munich, and there's this on pitch in the training room, on the training field, onslaught of him and Pep going at it, and him not being happy that he wasn't started against Arsenal in the last FA Cup match, and he's not getting much starting minutes ever since the World Cup. True to form, he dropped in form, but he was always City's main staple player. That even in FPL, you knew if you had Cancelo, you had a guaranteed starter. So seeing that happen, I thought their relationship was like this. So I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing. Even though it's loan, I do think this is just the start of Cancelo moving away from the Premier League, and I think Bayern would be clever if they kept him and then bought him at the end of the season. Because I don't see Cancelo going back to City after this. I don't see it happening. Even like I don't know, Andreas, what do you think? I don't think he's going back there.
I'm trying to figure out who actually is playing that position for Bayern normally, because I don't remember actually.
I can figure it out.
Yeah, but while you figure that out, to answer your question, Warren, no, I don't think so. But to me, it's interesting that it's a loan deal and not a signing. I think that's a little bit weird because you would imagine that why would they want to loan him out if they actually wanted to use him? So this
Pavard is right back, and then Alphonso Davies is left back.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you would imagine that him actually going away from City means that City don't really have any plans for him. So it only being a loan deal is to me a little bit surprising. But I guess it's Bayern that want to see if he works before actually signing him full time. So I agree
with that.
Yeah, but I agree. I think he's done. Like this is like if I compare to Chelsea or Liverpool, that would compare to we got Reece James on loan somewhere else, or you guys got Trent Alexander-Arnold on loan somewhere else, and those guys being so important for our teams will basically mean that if we did that, it was because we didn't have plans for him. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So not that I'm not saying that Cancelo is that important, but at the same time he has been important for City. So them even wanting to get him away on loan shows to me that they don't have future plans for him. So yeah, I very much agree that I think he's gone, and if it doesn't work in Bayern, he will be sold in the summer or get on another loan somewhere else. So yeah, but I think for him this is a good move. I think he has been in City for a while now, and this is going to be interesting. Like with the guys that Harry just mentioned, I don't know if he's better than them necessarily, but he can be competition for it, and it's a very interesting signing for sure, a loan deal for sure. So I'm really interested to see this, but I'm also really shocked about it because I did not expect this to happen. So I'm kind of confused, but at the same time, it sounds interesting.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But again, don't know if he will really be a big deal there. But it's worth trying, and he's a good player. So interested to see this happen.
It's an interesting move for me because I feel like City don't really have a proper left back.
No.
They've been making kind of makeshift left backs with their centre backs. It seems like a Kanji or Nathan Ake play left back, or and they're not actual proper left backs. They're makeshift. So that's why it's interesting. That's why it boggles my mind why they would let him go when he's a decent player. It makes no sense. I know they've got Rico Lewis there as well that kind of seems to be playing right back, but left back they haven't got anyone. They're not really. That's why it makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a silly move from City's part because they haven't really signed anyone either to replace him. Maybe that's why he's gone out on loan, that they can call him back if they get an injury or two.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys think it's a good move for him for him, his career?
For Cancelo?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tricky because Cancelo can play left or right back. He can play either position. So he's kind of like, he's a double threat in the thing. So for me, the fact that City hasn't been starting him, granted he didn't have the greatest season, but you can't have a great season every season. So the fact that I do believe this goes deeper, this is kind of like a Ten Hag Ronaldo territory type of thing where it's a management player dispute happening at the moment, and they're not seeing eye to eye. And I think Cancelo is like, I want time to play, I need play time, and Pep is not giving it to him. And Pep was like in a statement said that if you want to leave, go. That's the mentality I think at City, and I feel like he believes that if I'm Cancelo and I'm going to Bayern Munich, I'm playing Champions League still. I might get more starting time. I might prove myself there. We might beat City in the Champions League, and they might keep him. And if they don't, City might probably sell him to another club. So yeah, like I don't know. I think for Cancelo, it's not that bad because he's widening his wings, his horizons. But I think for City, it's a massive, massive, massive gamble. Just the fact that guy you can play, like if something happens to Stones or Diaz or whatever, you've got a freak round of injuries. You can play Cancelo left or right, but you can't do that with another player, and that's something you can't let go, and it makes no sense to me. So for me, Cancelo, for him personally, yes, great move or good move. We'll see down the road, but for City, a big, big gamble. Whether it's a bad move, we'll see.
Yeah.
Fair enough. The other one is Jorginho to Arsenal from Chelsea, which came through this morning, which is just crazy. I know we were kind of talking about it a little bit before we went on air. Again, that makes very little sense where that came from. He's not going to be first choice. I don't think he's going to be able to break the partnership there of Partey and Xhaka. Good for Arsenal to have more strength and depth. He's a class player, and he'll be good if they need him. But it makes no sense why Chelsea was letting him go. I know they've got loads of players there, but I feel like someone like Kovacic would be better to be shifting than Jorginho. I feel Jorginho can still do a great job for Chelsea. Andreas, you are the resident Chelsea fan here.
Yeah. This is interesting. It really is, and I think it depends on the way you look at it, because personally, I think Kovacic can bring more to our team, but he has just not done it No, Kovacic, when he was good for us, was great. The problem just is it's 3 seasons ago, and that is the reality. But I believe that there is a lot of potential in Kovacic. Where to me personally, Jorginho has always kind of been this good defensive player and good to bring the team together, which is important, and great at penalties. But I don't know. Jorginho has never been my favorite, and I do think Mount and Gallagher also very young, but a lot of potential. Enzo Fernandez, that's guys that I want to build the future around. I don't really see Jorginho being there. I has never been anything against him. I think Jorginho is great, but if I look at defensive midfielders, I much rather want Kante, and that is, you can't compare them, but Kante has always been for me the best in that position. Where in the midfield, I rather want guys like Mount, Gallagher, more offensive minded guys than I would say Jorginho is. So yeah, but the problem with this is that it's Arsenal. Like, had this been Liverpool or not City, because I'm tired of City getting every player, but Liverpool or United or something, I would have been like, this is cool. Good luck to you guys. Or another team from another country, a Spanish team or something like that. I would have been like, this is great, interesting to see where he goes. But why did it have to be Arsenal of all clubs in the world? That's the annoying part. But I agree. I don't really quite get it from his perspective. Other than maybe he can go on and win Premier League. That's probably not going to happen with us, at least not for a while, unless we really become better next season. So I get it in some parts, but on the other hand, I'm like, I don't quite get how much he gains from this. But from our perspective, I don't think it's that bad. I personally don't want him to be a sure starter, because I feel like there's other guys that can do that more. But we are very much in a situation where a lot of guys are injured. Kante has been injured for a very long time. A lot of other guys being in that situation, and therefore losing him right now with having a lot of injuries is probably not the best decision and solution, because it is very much a problem in the strength in your team. So right now I don't know if it's the best, but in general I think this is a good move, based on the fact that I strongly expect Enzo Fernandez to come in. If he don't come in, it's going to be a disaster, like legit a disaster. So don't laugh about it, man.
I love it. You're putting it out there.
But if that don't happen, it's going to be a disaster, and I will straight up say that right now. That would be terrible. So I very much hope that gets announced very soon, because if not, I'm going to cry. So yeah.
Oh my God.
Fair enough. And do you think Enzo Fernandez is a good move, Warren?
Oh, they paid a lot of money for him, man.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Chelsea's been really gung ho about this deal. I don't know why. I think Chelsea doesn't need Enzo Fernandez. I think they need a striker. I think they need to buy somebody that's gonna get them goals, because Sterling and Aubameyang and even Havertz, they haven't been really on fire. Havertz kind of like, yeah, but not really. But I would have get it if they gone for like a striker like Rafinha, or somebody like that from Barcelona, that's not like a legit striker. So I don't know whether it's a great move for them, because they just got Modric. That's how you say his name.
Yeah, close
I think
enough.
he's gonna slot that role perfectly. I feel like he's got the pace, he's got the skill, he's got the goal scoring ability. So I don't think they really need Fernandez, but they're pushing
Is Fernandez
it.
not a centre midfielder?
Excuse me?
Is Fernandez not a central midfielder?
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that I don't think they need to invest in that area. I feel like Chelsea needs to invest in the attacking forward line, that's where they need firepower at the moment, because you've only
They
got
could do with a
Havertz.
striker, to be fair. They do
Yeah,
need a striker, to be fair to them.
yeah. And I think you've got Kovacic, and you've got in the defense isn't that bad. I mean, Thiago Silva has been great, and N'Golo Kante has been out for a while. We don't even know when he's going to be back. Reece James is out. Chilwell is out. So there's a lot of holes, but you've got the likes of Gallagher. But now Gallagher's being linked to also possibly leaving. We'll see in the next couple of hours, because there's been talks that Gallagher is also being linked with the likes of. I mean, they say Liverpool, but I don't believe that's happening. But there's been rumors that Gallagher is in the midst of a potential late snatch from Chelsea. And if that happens, they don't get Fernandes. Jorginho's gone, and I mean, Jorginho takes the penalties. Come on now, he's the prime penalty taker. And if there's, I mean, I don't know what's happening at Chelsea. I like the fact that they're getting a lot of people in, but are they getting the right people in? It's the question. I like the Mudryk signing. I do. I think that's a perfect signing for them. But they need to invest in their forward line. So whether Fernandes is the right person, I don't think so. But he might surprise us. But I don't know if the deal is gonna go through. I hope for Andreas' part it does, because if it doesn't, it's going to be a loss. It's going to be a huge loss. And then they need to invest in that midfield, because now they're losing a lot of players, because Brozier is out also, isn't he? Brozier is out.
Yeah,
Kante is out. You've got Mount there, but Mount hasn't really been the strongest this season. So I don't know. I hope for the part they do get it, because at this point it'd be more detrimental for them to not get the deal.
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I very much agree with you, Warren, in that like I feel like honestly the signings we have gotten are great signings, and I'm very hopeful for a lot of them. I also think Joao Felix was a great loan signing, but reality is that not necessarily with him, but reality is that the problems that we have has not really changed that much. There are some problems in defense right now, not because the players we have are not good, but because a lot of them are injured. And striker wise, I kind of think that Joao Felix can go in and be that guy. So I believe, but that's also just a loan signing. So that's also going to be interesting to see. But I think he can be that guy. I really hope he is, because if not, we also have a problem. But I very much agree that we have made a lot of signings that I think will be great, but there really are some problems where I don't really know. Yeah.
I just think that Chelsea should have stopped with Mudryk and Felix. That's it. But now they're giving all these people in. But now they leave. The fact that people are leaving is just, for me, it's the weirdest thing. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I get it. I think also with when it comes to the Enzo thing, I think for me it's the thing that I also mean with Jorginho and all that kind of stuff. The thing is that this is very much a 1-to-1 swap deal. That Jorginho goes out, we get someone else in. So if we don't get that, we clearly have a problem. And if Gallagher also...
But didn't they sign a lot of other players as well? I'm just thinking, once all these players...
Not really the midfield position.
But once all these players come back, once Reece James comes back, Chilwell is back, Kante is back, then you got in front, you've got Aubameyang, you've got Brozier, you've got who's the other person, Sterling, who's out as well. So once all these players are back, what is he gonna do with that big squad? Because it's like Nottingham Forest 2.0 for me, because it's all these players now, and it's already a thing of the formation and who gets to start, and it's just, I mean, maybe this is a conversation for another day, but there's just a lot of questions. But I mean, we to say it's wrong or right, we have to wait and see.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I feel like, honestly, I feel like the starting 11, at least in my head, is pretty clear for me. It's Joao Felix on top, Sterling on one side, Mudryk maybe on the other side. Don't know if he really can be right up there, or he's better at what's the word, outside at the middle. But he can play those swing positions. So maybe him on one side, Sterling on the other, Felix in the middle. Mount, Fernandes, midfield, Kante defensive mid. and then you have the defense as it already is, because not really any new signings there. So yeah, that is to me, but I get what you're saying with Aubameyang and all those guys. But the problem for me is that a lot of those guys has not worked, and I don't think Aubameyang is going to work. So I really hope that he goes as soon as possible, because I don't think it's going to work. And already that signing alone was just a terrible move, I think. So I get what you're saying, but to me the problem is that a lot of the players has just not been working. And that is very
Jorginho has gone through, by the way. That move has gone through.
Yeah.
Fernandes?
Jorginho.
You just made me really happy, Harry.
No.
I was just about to get my Chelsea shirt right there.
He didn't have to travel far, so I mean, to do his miracle.
but to finish this thing here with Chelsea.
His flight has been delayed. It's according to the latest news, Enzo Fernandez's flight has been delayed.
Look at his face.
Guys, if that really happens, we have completely effed up. Like, seriously effed up. Like, honestly, as much as I would hate it, it would be kind of hilarious in a really, really sad way. But let's be honest, if that really
his flight is set to take off from at 8:30 UK time, so in about 15 minutes.
From what? From Portugal?
From Lisbon to Farnborough, which is Chelsea's training base, I guess. I don't know.
And when the window
I swear Arsenal has something to do with it.
Problem, I don't know.
Arsenal fans have something to do with that. I can just feel it.
Imagine Enzo Fernandez was on his way to Chelsea, and then Arsenal snatches it.
Yeah, did you never see the angry Arsenal guy? Like, that dude, he was willing to do whatever. Remember him, Harry?
The funniest thing.
Remember him, Harry, the angry Arsenal guy.
Oh God,
he's able to do whatever he wants. No, but to finish this Chelsea thing, I get what you're saying, Warren. But
he's undergoing a medical. It's saying in.
Can we stop talking? I'm trying to talk.
All right, we should probably try and wrap this up anyway. This discussion,
So to finish it off, I get what you're saying, but to me personally, I think there's so many flaws in the team that my starting 11 is very clear, because a lot of the players are not working, and a lot of that is probably our fault. Ziyech, Pulisic, all those guys, it's not working.
Ziyech is also leaving, isn't he?
Ziyech is also leaving, and also that's the crazy thing, because it's like, on one hand, it's great for his career, and I don't think he's going to work for us, sadly. But on the other hand, we are probably a part of that, and that is reality, and that is reality with a lot of these guys. Timo Werner, Ziyech, Pulisic. A lot of these guys never started working, and I think we have some. It's a part of our fault that they are not working, and yeah, right now it's. I'm really hopeful for the young guys, but it's also a little bit frustrating to see this huge club with a lot of players, and a lot of the players are just not really working. So yeah, that is frustrating. But I hope the Ziyech deal goes through for his sake, because he is much better with being in PSG. How crazy that even sounds, that he has a better chance at PSG than he has for us. But yeah, I think he does.
It's all well and good signing midfielders, but if you don't have a striker, you're not going to score goals. That's the problem. In Chelsea, are always going to be trouble if they sign a striker. So I don't know why they haven't tried. But yeah, they could. Is Tammy Abraham still a Chelsea player, or is he a Roma player? I'm not sure if he's on loan. Could they call him?
I think it's a done. I think he is at Roma for good, but I'm not quite sure. I'm not completely sure.
Because they could always call him back if he was on loan still.
I think the expectation is that Joao Felix will be that striker that we needed. I guess.
He's not a striker though, is he?
He scores the goals needed.
Was he a striker at Atletico? Do we know? I don't know. But anyway, we won't. Was he a striker at Atletico?
I mean, he is. I mean, he's not really the striker, but he scores the goals that's needed. Havertz was not a striker; he scored a goal as well, but just been terrible since that.
Fair enough. We will move on. And the final bit of transfer news is that Marcel Sabitzer from Bayern is supposedly the subject of a bid from Manchester United. They want him presumably to replace Christian Eriksen. That's good, though, that they are moving to try and get a replacement for Eriksen. Obviously, it's much needed.
I heard Pedro Porro as well to Spurs.
Yeah, that's been talked about. I don't really know much about him, but
I think it's official, right?
Not done yet. It's not yet. It's on the cusp, I think.
Okay.
And we do have to give a quick mention to our predictions game. We won't do any predictions over the next couple of days. We will wait and start our new league on Friday for the new month. So the weekend's predictions quickly. Andreas, Brighton to beat Liverpool. Ward-Prowse to get a goal or assist. Brighton obviously won. Ward-Prowse was not even in the squad. So we got 1 point there, which took him off the bottom. Well, he wasn't even at the bottom of it anyway. I said Derby to beat West Ham and United to beat Reading. United won. So I got a point, and then Richard said Brighton to beat Liverpool for a point and United to beat Reading by 2 or more goals, both 1 point each, and he got those. Warren's got no points this week. He said Liverpool to win and Fulham to win. Abu said Burnley to beat Ipswich by 3 goals or more for 3 points, and United to beat Reading with Garnacho to score or assist for 3 points. So the January leaderboard stands as follows: myself at the top on 12, Warren in second on 9, Richard on 5, Andreas on 3, and Abu at the bottom, which means I get to choose Abu's forfeit for him. And
can Abu get relegated? Actually, I think we should implement that from next month, that you can get relegated.
I mean, yeah. Look, we'll talk about it. I don't really want to say too much while we're on public YouTube. So, but yeah, I did put his forfeit in the chat already. And we are having issues with it because Abu is Abu.
Yeah, true.
I did say that he should wear a United shirt and kiss the badge, because we all know how much he loves Manchester United at the moment. And if he couldn't get a United jersey, then he would just have to go and shout in public, "I love Manchester United." So we will have more on that on Friday, hopefully. That is it, I believe, unless anybody has any last minute business.
Newcastle has scored.
Newcastle have scored. Who scored?
Longstaff.
Okay, so that's pretty much Newcastle through, you would imagine. I don't see Southampton getting 3 now.
Warren is very happy now.
Yes, I'm happy for now.
He gets his dream Newcastle United final.
Watch Nottingham score 4 goals tomorrow.
It's not gonna happen.
Andreas, no. With that, we will end the podcast. Good
We'll
night.
end it right
See you
there.
on Friday. Good night, everyone.